Hey everybody, Steve here again at Midlife ADV 1972. It's been about 10 days or so since my first submission to YouTube and the start of this YouTube adventure for me. I've been thinking a lot about exactly the direction I was taking with this YouTube channel and how I wanted to go. And I guess ultimately my plan is to chronicle the lead up to my trip to Alaska and then the trip to itself starting in 2026, probably July 1st. It'll be a trip, like I said, that I'm going to take with my little brother and maybe whoever else wants to tag along. And that's going to be the main scope. It gives me a way to chronicle and share this with somebody if anybody cares. Maybe they'll relate to it, maybe they won't. But as I thought more about it, there might be a little bit more of a selfish undertone to what's going on. I guess what this channel is going to give me the ability to do is to share, how I'm feeling, how I'm going through this thing they call midlife. I guess dealing with failure, dealing with success, dealing with everyday life. Maybe some of you guys out there can relate to it. I know I'm not going to relate to the 17-year-old kid living in Chicago or the 55-year-old divorcee lady living in Saskatchewan. But maybe I'll relate to some of you. Maybe those guys out there, my age, similar backgrounds, middle class, maybe feeling a little regret in life, maybe feeling a little irrelevant. And maybe you guys will follow along on what I'm doing to move into, the next chapter of my life. Kind of on a road trip today. Was feeling a little funky, playing hooky from work. I've been putting off driving the 3.5 hours to pick up my Harley Davidson. As far as motorcycles, it's kind of my first love. Right back there, if you can see it. She's riding back there. I'm glad to have her. For anybody out there that's hardcore and said, hey Steve, why didn't you find a ride the 3.5 hours and ride the motorcycle home? If there wasn't still snow on the ground, I definitely would have done that. But I didn't. She's in the truck. This is kind of a mental health day. Just had lunch with a very, very old, very close friend. In my younger years, he did a lot to help me. He's probably responsible for, how far I've come and the man I am today, and I'm very grateful. But we kind of caught up on life and what it's brought us and the trials and the tribulations today at lunch, and it did a lot for my thinking. But yeah, more than that, life, I think a lot of us are feeling what I'm feeling. You're looking back on life, maybe feeling certain regrets, things like that. I guess that's what I'm going through a lot. I'm trying to be a better person, and I'm trying to look back on what I did and not repeat them. That's just a little bit of how I'm feeling today, but let's talk a little bit more about the bike in the back. It's the first new motorcycle I ever owned, so we got a little bit of a connection. It's a 2020 Electra Glide Standard, and it's seen me through a lot, me and my wife. It's been as far as the west coast of Canada. It's been as far east as Niagara Falls, as far south as New Mexico and Utah and southern Colorado, and a lot of places in between. About 60,000 kilometers worth in the last 5 years. So like I said, it's got a special place in my life. It's gotten me through a lot. There's been a lot of miles on that bike by myself, just thinking about life and how to get through it. Contemplating things, thinking. And I think that's what motorcycles do for us. Ultimately, when you're on a motorcycle, even if you got a passenger, it's just you. There's the road noise and there's your thoughts. You're stuck with them. And I think a motorcycle's done a lot for a lot of people. to get them through some rough times and get them through that stinking thinking. And that's what it's done for me. So I got a lot of love for that piece of equipment back there. That being said, she's probably going to spend a little more time in the garage this year than it normally does. It's up until now been my daily rider, back and forth to work and seen daily use in the summer. Whereas I think the new bike, the Yamaha, the Tenere 700, is probably going to take that duty away for the most part as a daily rider. And the bike I ride on solo trips for at least the next year and a half until I take off to Alaska. I've had the opportunity over the last 2 weeks to ride the Tenere a little bit, almost 600 kilometers. It's been cold. A lot of those days were barely above freezing. Other days it was a little bit warmer, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 degrees Celsius. And I gotta tell you, that bike just begs to be ridden. The more I ride it, the more it just begs me to ride it harder, and it instills confidence. It 100% makes me a better rider. Like I said, I got very limited off-road skills, and the bike is fairly forgiving. Not completely forgiving, because last week I stuck it on its side, me on my back and the back on its side, the bike on its side. I was decided to go down a snowmobile trail in the mud, and I learned the limitations of the rear tire for sure. So I guess until I get a better camera, this is what I got to offer. This is just my phone. Today I picked up a selfie stick, and this is how I'm going to do it until I decide on an adventure camera. I was at the store today where I bought the selfie stick, and I was looking at this adventure camera made by a company called DJI. It looks very similar to a GoPro, but my understanding is a little more advanced, and I think that's probably, after a little bit of research, the direction I'm going to go as far as an off-road adventure camera for now. My guess is I'm going to get a chin mount for it and set up an audio mic inside the helmet, so maybe you guys can come along and you can see my progression as an off-road rider, which, like I said, I got very limited skills. On top of that, you're going to see my progression as a cinematographer. Like I said, right now I'm doing her on the phone, but that's what I got to give you. So that's my check-in for today. I'm heading home, going home to see that wife that lets me do a lot of crazy stuff. I want to thank you. I want to thank the 15 people that viewed my first installment on Midlife ADV 1972. I'm guessing most of them, family and friends. But if there's any of you out there that didn't, I hope you watch this video, and I hope you relate. Thank you, and you know what? Do some cool shit in your life. Thank you.